Hey, I know this walk ain't popular, but I follow where your light goes. I know it's you, nothing impossible. Connected to my alma, bro, shining like a light bulb.
RUMAMUYAHUAH. YAHUAH. Kalkabadu Yahuwah. All esteemed Abba Yahuwah, YAHUSHA. BARAK Yahuwah. Hey, shalom, shalom, beloved family. To all the 12 tribes of Yasharal that have been scattered across the four corners of this earth. Shalom, shalom unto you. Shalom, shalom unto the Goyim, the other nations that have attached themselves unto us through the blood of Yahuwah, Yahusha, RUMAMUYAHUAH. Yah. This is your beloved author, beloved watchman, Azariyahu, coming to you with the final segment, the final leg of the Abaryt letters. Barak Yahuwah. Please, Salahi, forgive me for not uploading this last video of the letters, not learning the Abaryt. This sequence of videos will not end after we get done with the letters. No, we are going to continue with words, going into words, like breaking down words. We're going to start off with the simple words like Abba, Amma, Ahi, the word for brother, or my brother, Ahut or Ahuti. We're going to break down these simple words and look at what the meanings are for these words, Barak Yahuwah, the true meanings, not what this Western society gave us. We're going to look at the true meaning for these words, the true concrete meaning, using the meaning of each letter, Barak Yahuwah. So this sequence of video with learning the Abaryt will not be ended. We'll be going into words next to break down words using the meaning of each letters. Then we can go into some reading of these sentences. Also, I'll be sharing with you guys all RUMAMUYAHUAH, not just Yahuwah's Palal in the Abaryt tongue, but also the Shama. The Shama, Deuteronomy 6, verse 49. The Shama in the Abaryt tongue as well will be shared. But we got to learn the letters first. We got to learn some words and breakdowns, pronunciation. We got to understand the vocabulary, the sounding, and get rid of our old ways that living, what they told us wrongly, that IVF Jew, that intervention of the Jews. We got to get rid of that so we can properly pronounce these words and understand these words, understand which letters are not in it and which letters should be there, the sounding that it should make, that it should give, and all the stuff. Barak Yahuwah. So before we jump into it, let's jump into Palal, even though Yahuwah, and we're going to use, our Abaryt Palal, which is Yahuwah's Palal, Yahuwah's prayer that he taught us when he came here, Barak Yahuwah Yahusha. So we're going to do that Palal as well. If you want to learn that Palal, practice it, say it, that's also on the channel. I did a video on that Palal. It's on the channel as well, so you can practice it on your own so that you can say it in the Abaryt tongue without using any pagan words or pagan terms, pure Abaryt words and language. RUMAMUYAHUAH. Allahu. So let's jump into it. Allahu. To the Yahuwah, to the thanksgiving unto you as you have commanded Yahuwah. Enter through your gates with thanksgiving and into your courts we come with a praise. RUMAMUYAHUAH. Allahu. Abinu, Ba, Shamaim, Kadashki, Shamka, Malakutka, Mua, Ya, Ra'uka, Asha, Al-Arat, Kan, Shamaim, Natan Lanu, Hayum, Ad, Laham, Bahazara, Usalah Lanu, Lahatenu, Ki Lanu, Salah Utam, Lahata Imkam, Kwara Lanu, Uparat Lanu, Lah Laha. U Yasha Lanu Ma Rasha La Malakutka Shula Haka U Akabat Bahasham Al Kal Shamut Yahuwah Yahusha Aman Barak Yahuwah RUMAMUYAHUAH. All right, so let's get started. Let's jump into this. Thank you, Abba. Thank you. Thank you, Abba Yahuwah. Thank you, Abba Yahuwah. Let's jump into it. So First letter that we're going to go into on this video is the R in English. This R in the Abaryt would be called the Rash. Rash. And as you can see in the picture, it is the form of a head of a man, or head of a person, you can say. Well, mostly head of a man. BARAK YAHUAH. Why head of a man? You're going to understand when you see the meanings. BARAK YAHUAH. Now, this is what it looks like in the modern. It looks like basically you'd say a number 7. So that's how you can probably identify it easier. But however you can, just identify it and know that this is the Rash. And the English letters should show you or should give you an idea of what it is, especially when using the strongs. So the name is called Rash. The form of this is the head of a man, RUMAMUYAHUAH. Sound that it makes is a ra sound. Ra sound, BARAK YAHUAH. And the meanings are very easy and simple. First, top, beginning. Now, why the word first? Now, when you're looking at a person, the first part of a person you look at, or the first body part of the person, is their head. The head is the first. It's on top of their body. It's the beginning of their body as well. So that's an easy way to remember it. So first and top. First, top, and beginning. Those are the 3 meanings for this word, Rash. Or this letter rather, for this letter, Rash. First, top, beginning. Now, when you look at the word Ashar, because remember I told you that Ahaya, Ashar, Ahaya, it means I the Ya, that's Ahaya. Ashar means strong, because you have the Aleph, which means strong. Then you have the Shin, which we'll get to right after this letter, which means sharp. And then you have the Rash right here, which is the head of man. So Ashar means strong, sharp head of man. That's who Yah is. He was identifying who he is. He's telling Marsha in Shamut or Exodus 3 verse 14 that I am Yah. I am the Yah. I am Yah. I am the one that made man. I am the strong, sharp head of man. I am the first. I am the top. I am the beginning, because that's one of the meanings. That's what he was saying to Marsha. He was not just simply saying, I am the I am, or I will be who I will be, and any of that stuff. It has a lot more meaning when you look at the Abaryt tongue. That's what the English translators gave us, because they don't want us to fully understand what he was saying. So when he said Ahaya, Ashar, Ahaya, I the Yah, strong, sharp head of man, I am the Yah. Who's the head of man? Yahuwah. Who's the head of woman? Man. Do you see the principle coming down? Do you see the principle coming down? He's showing you an order, a precept, a principle coming down. He's showing you the construction of the family, the design of the family. You got to know who's the head of the family, who's the head of every being, every power, every creation. Who's the head of it? Yahuwah is the head. So that's what he was saying in Exodus 3, verse 40. Then when you go to verse 15, is where he says, let them know, tell them that Yahuwah, the Alua, or the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of such and such, so he discovered his name. Yah, who formed man, which a stretched out arm, he formed man and add breath to man. That's what the name Yahuwah means. We'll break that down as well to show you. BARAK YAHUAH. So the Rash means first, stop, and beginning. RUMAMUYAHUAH. Now let's move on to the Shin, the SH. Next letter is SH, which in the picture, it is the form of 2 front teeth. 2 front teeth. In the modern, as you can see, it looks similar to the picture. It looks similar. And in the modern and in the pillar, it'll always look very similar. This is one of the letters that really hardly changes when you move from whether the picture to the paleo to the modern. They all look very, very similar. And also, Barak Yahuwah, this is where we get our letter, as you can see, W from. Yep, this is where we get it from. Or the construction, the form of the letter W, Barak Yahuwah. Now, the name is called Shin. Shin, remember, when the Y is not the first letter, it gives an I sound. So imagine this was an I, just as you have the word chin, which is Chin, chin. This is Shin, Shin. But you would not write an I here, not because it makes an I sound, you're going to write an I. That's a mistake that a lot of person does when they are writing the words. Because of the sounding of the letter, they write what they hear. And we do that as well in English when we were in schools or when we were growing up learning words. As I said, the first time I tried to write the word or spell the word physical, I spelled it with that F. There are other words that I did this very same thing with because of what I heard. What's not what was there, that's not the true letter. You got to understand the letters and the sounds that they make. When you put this letter with that letter, or whatever the case may be, even though some honestly don't make, well, a lot don't make any sense in the English. Just like perfect example, O-U-R. O-U-R would give you our. Like, that's our car, that's our home, that's our son, our daughter. Now, if you put an H there, it's still the same pronunciation. The only difference is the meaning. And in the H here, now you're not talking about something personal which belongs to you and someone else, but you're talking about the time of the day. So the hour is 3 a.m., 3 p.m. Now, if you should remove that H and put an S there, you get a very similar pronunciation, but only with the additional S, you get that. So now you have, instead of hour, you have sour. You have an S sound, and you have the sound of an S being added to the word, to the beginning of the word. So now you get sour, which means something that does not have a very pleasant taste. Now, if you should change that letter again and put a T there, now the whole entire sounded word, everything changed. Not just the meaning anymore. Even the entire pronunciation of all three letters have been changed by one letter, which makes no sense. Because how can you move from our, sour, and now putting a T there, you get tour. Why is it not tower? Because the T makes a T, so it should be tower. Why is it tour? It makes no sense. And if you put a P there, it's poor. Makes no sense. So not everything in the English adds up, but you get an understanding of what I'm saying. This is what happens because of English, because of main reason, confusion. Who asked me this question? Why did he gave multiple languages in the first place? If Yahuwah never gave multiple languages, then everyone would understand Abaryt. Abaryt would only be the only tongue out there. That's the heavenly tongue. That's the tongue of the messengers. That's the tongue of Yahuwah. Proof to this, when Yahusha spoke to Akisha'al, or the Apostle Paul, what tongue did he speak in? Did he speak in Greek? Did he speak in Spanish? Did he speak in English? Did he speak in French, German, Russian, Chinese? No, he spoke in Abaryt. He did not speak Greek, did not speak Latin or any other language. Why? Because this is his tongue. This is the tongue of creation. Go and read Jubilees 12, verse 25 to 26. This is the tongue of creation, Yah's tongue. He will not use these other tongues that much. Why? Because they're filled with pagan words and spells. So he has to be careful when using it, when speaking to us. Which some of us, we don't know it. So yes, Yahuwah will speak to you in that tongue, in that language that you know. But guess what? When you come back to this ancient path, you walk in it, you learn it, you try to understand it. And that's what we're doing now, so that we can truly understand what was originally spoken and said and written. Because the scriptures were not originally written in your tongue, your language. that is of your country, your native language. Your native language could be, if you're watching from France, yours would be French. If you're watching from Spain, yours would be Spanish. If you're watching from, let's say Germany, China, you get what I'm saying. It was not, the scriptures were not originally written in these languages. They were originally written in Hebrew. Written to Hebrews, spoken by Hebrews, understood by Hebrews. So we need to understand this as well. You don't understand the Hebrew tongue, you won't fully understand the scriptures. You will know the scriptures, but you won't have a deep understanding to it. You'll only understand the surface, but the deepness of the scriptures. Why? Because a lot of these words have been changed, have been tampered with. We saw that same thing with the name of Yahuwah. It has been changed from being Yahuwah to the Lord, or God. Yahusha from being Yahusha to being Jesus. If someone never studied it, if the tongue was not continued over the years, then we would not know that his name is not the Lord, or God, or Jesus. We would have believed that was his original name. But because someone researched it, someone teach it, and they continue it, that's all we know today, that his name is not the Lord. No, it's the same thing with words as well. There are some words in the English scriptures, or English Bible, that are spells or names of idols. So if you read it from the English perspective, well, guess what? You're not going to understand why he said this, why this doesn't make any sense, why. You're not going to understand a lot of things in the scriptures. And that's what we see today. That's what Yahuwah asked me. Why did he give multiple languages? And I answered to him, you gave it for confusion because of the rebellion and disobedience of the people, of your people. And he says, correct. And he said to me after this, he says, don't you see that it's doing this job even today? It's doing its job today. Why? Because people today, just like back then in Nimrod's time, are disobedient, were disobedient and rebellion. It's the same way today. You have a lot today that are disobedient and rebellious to Yahuwah. So most today won't understand the scriptures. That's why you got so many doctrines out there, so many different belief systems, because none is trying to be humble and submissive under Yahuwah to unlearn what you thought you know. Everyone's been puffed up in their own ways, in their own mind, in their own understanding. And that's something Yahuwah tells us not to do. Trust in Yahuwah with all your heart. Lead not to your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. If my people that are called by my name would humble themselves, but so many are not humble, they're puffed up. They preach, they proclaim how humble they are. Like every time you hear them speak, they say, oh, I'm humble. I'm a humble person. If I was humble, this would, they always preach these sermons about being humble, but their actions, their fruits does not show it. So this is why there are so many doctrines out there, belief system out there, because of disobedience of the people and rebellion. And because of that, Yahuwah is going to step back away from you, the same way he did with King Saul, or King Shahal. The same way he did with King Saul, he's going to step back from you. And no, you're going to have an understanding of devils. You're going to understand what the world, what Hashatan wants you to understand or know. Not what Yahuwah is trying to reveal to you. Yahuwah will not reveal these deepness, these secret things to the prideful, but the humble. So, this is why learning the Abaryt tongue is important. May not be important to all, but for those who really want to give Yahuwah all that you got, this is why you study it. This is why you learn it. Don't listen to the haters. Don't listen to the agents. Because remember, there are many are called, few are chosen. There are many wolves out there that are in sheep clothing. Be careful. We have seen a few that have come on this channel, and I told persons, don't come on this channel with that nonsense. It's that your comment will be deleted. If you continue, you'll be blocked from this channel. It's that simple. I give you a simple command. If you don't like what's being said or taught here on this channel. It's simple. Go and find another channel. Go and find someone, a teacher that will tickle your ear. It's that simple. I'm not forcing anyone here to believe what I'm saying, what I'm sharing, what Yahuwah shared, what scripture is showing us. I'm showing you all proof. It's on you to choose to believe or not. Everyone has been given a freedom of choice. So I'm not forcing this truth on anyone. On here, we believe Yahusha is Yahuwah. I've made that quite clear in all my videos coming down. We have made that quite clear. We believe Yahuwah is Yahusha. So no one should find it strange or weird when I say Barak Yahuwah, who is Yahusha. If you do find it strange, it shows that you have not studied the channel. So before anyone gets excited or anything, study the channel that you are part of. Because sometimes what most persons will do, they'll use one video or a certain type of video or certain things to reel you in. It's like a fish. They'll use a bait to lure the fish to the hook. You got to study. By their fruits you shall know them. Study if this channel is something that I can follow, if I can submit under. Before you go all in, then only to find out, whoa. They're not who I thought they were. And maybe it might be too late, maybe not. So be careful out here, Mashpaka. In these last days, be careful, family. And for those unbelievers out there, be careful as well, because there are many persons who are disguised as persons of the Most High, but are not. And they will come against a lot of things without proof. They'll start to randomly speak and say, oh, that's nonsense. That doesn't make no sense. How can he break himself? How can he do this? Oh, learning the Abaryt, the letters and the meanings, they make no sense. Do not pay attention to these distractors, to these agents, right? Stay on track, stay focused for Yahuwah. And seek him with all your heart, and he shall direct all your paths. RUMAMUYAHUAH. So continuing with the letter, Shin. Now, as I said, the Y, when it's not the first letter, it makes an I sound. Makes that I sound. The Y can make sometimes an O sound, that U kind of sound, and sometimes a W sound, mostly depending on the dialect of the tongue, the person that's speaking it. Because I've heard different persons calling on the name of Yahuwah, all spell it the same that I've heard. I'm not talking about everyone in the Y, don't get me wrong. But I'm talking about persons who believe the spelling of Yahuwah's name is YHUH with the imaginary A's, Yahuwah, but persons pronounce it differently. But it's still the same spelling. Some pronounce it where it sounds as if there's a W within it. Some pronounce it where it sounds as if there's an O within it. But if you should ask them to write it, they're going to write it with a U. YHUH or YAHUAH. That's how they're going to spell it for you. So it's because of the tongue. It's because of how they speak, their accent. It's like, perfect example. Not all Jamaicans speak the same kind of dialect of Jamaican language, which is called Patois, or Creole, Jamaican Creole. Different parts of Jamaica that you go to, you'll hear different Jamaicans speak Creole in a different way. It's the same thing with America. Not all Americans speak English the same way. You go to Atlanta, you go to Texas, you go to different places around America, you hear different accents, different dialects of their English-speaking tongue. Same thing with French, same thing with even Spanish, Chinese as well. You can identify certain tribe of a Chinese-speaking person, certain tribe of an African. Every tribe has their type of dialect, how they sound when they speak. It's the same thing with Abaryt. Each tribe have a different sounding, have a different dialect, but it's still the same spelling. The spelling does not change. But this is what's happening today, where persons are leaning to their own understanding, and because it sounds this way, you're changing the spelling, and changing the spelling, you also change the word and the meaning. Because if you should remove the Y and put an I there, and if you should remove an N and put a B there, is it going to be the same word? No, it cannot. You have two letters. let's say instead of the B, let's say you put an I where Y should go, and where A is, you put an E there. You're not gonna have the same word. You're gonna have a foreign word. Because if you should try to identify that, show that to someone who speaks pure Abaryt, who knows it, they are going to look at it all confused. You got to show them the original letter, then they can understand. So that's something to keep in mind as well with learning the Abaryt tongue. RUMAMUYAHUAH. So the name is Shyn. The form, the picture of this is two front teeth. The sound that it makes is a sha sound. The meaning are to, press, eat, opening, sharp, again. Now these meanings should, be easy to understand. Why? Two front teeth, two teeth. Press, you press against something to eat. In order to eat, you got to open your mouth. The opening of the mouth, and by opening your mouth, you are able to see the teeth within your mouth. Sharp, our teeth are sharp. And then in order to eat and press, you got to do that continually. So you got to press again and again until the food is consumed or destroyed. So another meaning for this as well, I should have added there. Let me add it right here so you all can see. Another meaning for this as well is destroy. 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 So that's another meaning for this as well. BARAK YAHUAH. Moving on to the next letter. The final letter in the Abaryt tongue. But we have one letter to look at. That's an addition, because remember I said there are 23 based on what Jeff has founded, and most don't have it. And the reason why we don't have it today, I'll get to it shortly so you can understand why we don't have this letter today. So, but this is the final letter of the Abaryt alphabet, the final order. Because I don't want you to get it twisted or wrong that the letter that I'm about to show you after this letter is the last letter. No. Remember, Yahuwah says he is the Aleph and the Ta. He is the first and the last, the beginning and the end. So the Ta is the last and final letter of the Abaryt tongue. The letter that I'm about to show you after this letter, I'm not sure where in the order would it be. Would it be number 5? Would it be number 10? Would it be number 12? I'm not sure, but I know it's not the last letter. In Jeff's book, you will see it as the last letter in the alphabet charted, but it's not the last letter. All right? It's just a letter that he found that we're not sure yet where in the order it would be. But it's a letter that he found in the Asian Semitic writings and inscriptions and all that stuff. So just to let everyone know, the Ta is the last letter of the alphabet or the alphabet, and the Aleph is the first letter. All right, BARAK YAHUAH YAHUSHA. Now let's look at the last letter of the alphabet in the order. The name of it is the Ta. It's a form picture of 2 cross sticks. It's not a cross. It's 2 cross sticks. It could look exactly like an X. It can look exactly like an X, right? So in some, it will look exactly like an X, where you say, X marks the spot. So this is the Ta. On my keyboard with the fonts, the Hebrew fonts, I'm not finding the Ta. I don't know why. For some reason, I'm not finding it. But you can go and research at Google what the Ta is, what the Ta looks like in the modern Hebrew. So, BARAK YAHUAH. So this one is called Ta. Form picture of 2 cross sticks. So that it makes is a Ta sound. And the meanings are mark. Remember, as I said, X. It's a picture of 2 X or 2 cross sticks, which means X marks a spot. Sign/signature, signal, and monument. Now, I don't know if you ever see, well, we all see this if we have been in the airport or we know of this occupation at airport, this job, this era, where when the planes come into, when they come into taxi or to park, or they go out to taxi, you have this guy that has a bright vest with an orange or green or yellow, and he has two sticks in his hand that he can light. Now, normally he would wave these sticks above his head to direct the pilot where to go, where to put the wheel of the plane and all that stuff. He would be called, I believe his title would be called a controller. I believe he would be called a controller. Now, when he wants the plane to stop, when the plane is in the perfect position, exactly where it should be, X marks the spot, what does he do to get the pilot to stop? He cross the sticks that he has within his hand. If it's nighttime, they will light up. He crossed these sticks, and when he crossed these sticks, it makes an X, and that gives a signal to the pilot to stop. And once the controller does this crossing of his sticks that he has, not actual sticks, everyone. Just research it. Barak Yahuwah. But they look like sticks. Once he crossed these two sticks or his tools, the pilot would know immediately once he sees the X to stop the plane, because he's in the perfect position where I don't know what they call the gateway that attached to the plane to walk on. Maybe it's called a gateway, maybe it's called a bridge. I think it's called a bridge. He would know that's the perfect spot for the bridge to come across to be connected to the door so that the passengers can come off the plane. This is where they got their idea from. So as you can see, everything is from creation. Nothing is really created by man. It's just basically what Yahuwah gave us. So Yahuwah is truly the creator, RUMAMUYAHUAH, but it's man and the demons that twist his creations and make it an abomination. So this is where these airports and plane controllers and persons got their idea from, to use sticks to direct a plane. And when he wants them to stop, he creates an X, which means X marks the spot, and he gives the pilot a signal or a sign to stop. RUMAMUYAHUAH. So, perfect example of the two cross sticks. And if you notice, they make an X, not a cross. But you'll understand. You're basically understanding it. RUMAMUYAHUAH. So at the same time, Yahuwah is giving us the sign. That's why he's the tar. He's the mark. He's the signature in our life. That's why he says he's the Aleph and the Tar. Not just meaning the first and the last, but he's the sign. He's the mark that we must go after. The word for crime is hata, and it means to miss the mark. The T in the hata is the tar, and that's what we have missed. We have missed Yahuwah. Man, there's so much to learn in the Abaryt. Oh man, it's mind blowing when you get to understand the letters and the meanings. Then you start to reread the scriptures, and you read it with this understanding, with learning the Hebrews, the letters now. Man, it's another reading. There's so much revelation, so much that you missed at first. When you understand the Hebrew letters and you read the scriptures again, it's gonna seem as if this is the first time that you're reading the scriptures. No, with this Abaryt understanding, especially if you can properly navigate through the Strong's Concordance. Jeff A. Bennett also has Asian Hebrew Torah that he did, where he did the first 5 books of the Torah in the Abaryt tongue, the Picto, as a matter of fact. So the book of Genesis, the book of Numbers, Deuteronomy, Exodus, all these things, Leviticus, they're all done in the Abaryt tongue, in Picto. So man, when you read these things again, it's another understanding. There's another level that you go in. So this is why it's important as well. Yahuwah wants you to know. Yahuwah wants you to understand so that no one has any excuse whatsoever. Barak Yahuwah. So that's the Ta Rumamu for you. That's the final letter of the alphabet in its order. At first, we thought it was 22, but with this understanding of this additional letter, this letter that should have been there, we understand no, that it's 23. So this would be the 23rd letter of the Abaryt, or the Hebrew alphabet, or Aleph, Beit. Now, the next letter that we're moving on, the final letter of this video and of this teaching of the letters is this one. This is GH. Just as you have the CH and the SH, this is GH. And this one is called the Ghah. Ghah. It is the form of a twisted rope. Twisted rope, as you can see, a twisted rope. In the modern, it is the same letter as the ayin. It's the same letter as the ayin, but another side to the ayin. Now let me explain what I mean by another side to the ayin. Now, just as how you have a day has two sides. A lot don't know this because you don't properly study. You don't understand Yahuwah. You don't understand scriptures. You don't humble yourself, and that's why you don't know when a day truly starts. Most people believe a day only consists of the sun, from the rising of the sun to the going down of the sun. That's a day, the light part. So only the daylight is the day. When I ask a lot of person what is the night, and the night is a separate thing. It's a separate, time. So I asked them, then if the night is a separate time, separate thing, that means when the sun rises up, that's when the day starts. And when it goes down, that's when the day ends. So if a day ends right there, then time goes on pause, right? Which cannot happen because time is continual. It doesn't end. So your theory behind when a day begins doesn't make any sense. It doesn't add up because basically we should go on pause when the sun goes down. Until the sun rises again, then we resume. Meaning we should basically freeze up, don't move, wherever we are, whatever we're doing, which doesn't add up, which doesn't make any sense, right? Sounds like a movie. Exactly. So when you look into creation, when Yahuwah created the earth, the days, he says evening and morning. The word that they place there, morning, should not be there. The Abaryt word is bakar, which translates to mean daylight. Daylight. So the entire light part of the day, daylight, evening onwards to the night. So when Yahuwah says the evening and the bakar, or the Abaryt word for evening is arab, which means a mixture of light and darkness. So right in the middle. If you should look when the sun is about to go down, or when the sun is going down, look, you'll see a mixture of light and a mixture of darkness. It's right there for you to see, proven in creation. You don't even need to go into the Bible to see. You can simply go outside whenever the sun goes down for you. Don't wait until like an hour after, 2 hours after, but right as the sun, find out when the sun is going down. Go look when the sun hits the horizon, and you'll see. Look in the sky, you'll see part of the sky that's light, part of the sky that's dark. That's Arab, evening, a mixture of both the daylight and the night. That's right in the middle. If you look at our calendar, it's right in the middle of the pagan calendar. So when Yahuwah says, and the evening, Arab, and the Bakar, daylight, were the first day, that's what he was on. That's what he meant. Why? Because the earth was first created in darkness, not in light. If the earth was created in light, then he would not say, let there be light, because light was already there, which makes no sense again. So some person's theory, when I asked them what was the first thing created, they said light. Makes no sense, because that's not what Genesis says. That's not what Jubilee says. And that's proven. First thing that was created was the heaven and the earth. Darkness was created as well. Read Jubilees too. You'll see that Yahuwah created darkness. Then he said, because of that darkness on the earth, he says, let there be light. And light was added. Light was there. So light was added in the first day of creation. But it's not the first thing that was created. Religion taught us that. If you should look that up, what was the first thing created in the creation? Google most Christianity website or Christianity website, they're going to say that the first thing that was created was light. Which Bible are they reading? I have no clue, because it could not be the scriptures that we were all given. No matter what translation you use, every single translation says, in the beginning, Yah created, we know that, the other translation would not say Yah, it would say that pagan name, God. In the beginning, Yah or Alua created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without shape and form, and darkness was on the face of the earth. So in the beginning, Yah created the heaven and the earth. So how can the first thing that was created be light? Do you see? So all the theory is all confusing. So it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And I'm talking about persons who believe the day starts at sunrise. Based on the persons that I've talked with, that I've used to fellowship with, this is their belief, this is their explanation, and all kind of nonsense. They will go to some scriptures and say, see, look at the scriptures. But yet they miss out the concept of the scriptures. Like one of them is in Exodus, I believe, or Numbers, where Yahuwah said to Masha, or Masha was saying to the people, that Yahuwah, and in the evening you shall see Yahuwah. The first part where Masha started was the evening, but everyone focused on the daylight part, the morning. Why? Because the sun rose up and everything was melting, and said, and it was the Shabbat. That's all they focused on. So they used one verse to push or use as proof for their belief without reading the proper context. If you read the context of that scripture, I don't remember what chapter it is, but you all should know the scripture I'm talking about, where Yahuwah told them to gather at twice as much, and the quails shall take over the bread, and they shall not go out to gather on the Shabbat. And also, that's the scripture that I'm talking about. If you read the context from verse 1 all the way down, you'll see that it says in the evening they got meat, in the daylight they got bread, in the evening they got meat, and the first thing Marsha says, in the evening you're going to see Yahuwah, and in the daylight. So the first part of his conversation that he started, the first part is the evening that was mentioned first. Why? Because that's creation. The reason why persons believe a day starts at sunrise is because that's when they start their day. That's when we all start our day. We would get up in the morning, go get our face washed, brush our teeth, all that stuff. Go get breakfast, get showered, change ready, and head out to work, and we would start our day. And we would go to work, and then when 5 o'clock comes, 5 o'clock hits, we end work, we head on home, whatever the case may be. And when the sun goes on, the day ends. It's the end of the day. Well, we don't understand that time continues. If you should pause time, if you're watching a movie and you press the pause button, the entire film pauses, right? If Yahuwah should pause time like that with every human being, every insect, creature, everything, the sea, the wind, if Yahuwah should press pause, every single thing would go on pause. If time should stop, we all are going to stop with it. So that's one thing that we need to understand, but we don't. Yahuwah exists out of time. We don't exist out of time. We exist in time. When it's our time to go to sleep, it's our time to go to sleep. Yahuwah will put us to sleep. You're not Yahuwah. You're not more powerful than Yahuwah to exist out of time. So the night is not separate from the daylight. That's why you can't understand the scriptures. That's why you can't understand the Shabbat, understand when the day begins. That's why you can't understand the feast days. Even in the feast, when you look at the feast days, at evening shall you keep your Pasah. At evening shall you do this. At evening shall you do this. And from evening to evening shall you keep your Shabbat. The feasts are all instructed for evening. The Pasah, Matzah, the fast for atonement, the day of atonement, the Shabbats, all this stuff. Why would Yahuwah say, all right here, you're not going to start the day here. You're going to start the day at evening. But then when you go back, you're going to start the day at sunrise. That makes no sense. It's one thing. Yahuwah's time does not change. Man time change. Man changes its time, not Yahuwah. Man's the one that tries to change. Why? Because they're trying to cover up their lies. When you tell one lie, you got to tell another lie to continue to cover up your foot tracks. Man are the one that always try to change and cover up their lies because they don't want to be exposed. So Yahuwah would not operate like that. Do it here, there, here, coming back, all around. That's confusion. Yahuwah is not the author of that. He's the author of order, principle, structure. If he's the head, he's always going to be the head. He's not going to say, all right, you know what? I'm going to allow someone to be the head. You know what? I'm not going to be gracious this time. You know what? I'm going to change. That's what we're trying to get Yahuwah to do. Why? Because we want Yahuwah to change to be in our own way, to be comfortable to us, to be convenient to us. We don't try to change to Yahuwah. We want Yahuwah to change to us. We want Yahuwah to adapt to us and our situation. We don't want to adapt or change to Yahuwah. Yahuwah says, any man be in him is a renewed creature. All things are passed away. All things become renewed. It's not the other way around. Anyone that comes to Yahuwah, Yahuwah is renewed. Yahuwah is changed. So again, stop changing the scriptures to fit your surrounding or your lifestyle to make it more convenient to you, because it's not about you. I'm not afraid to say that to anyone. It's about Yahuwah. All esteem, all praise and honor belongs to Yahuwah. No man, no power, no being but Yahuwah. So, because of this, we miss the scriptures. We miss a lot of things, and that's why there are so many deceptions out here. Why? Because Hashatan is the reason for these changes. Yahuwah says go up, Hashatan is going to say go down. If Yahuwah says the day starts at evening, Hashatan is going to tell the day starts at sunrise or midnight. And even this fact, again, look at when the pagans changed their dates. This is even proof to show you that day starts in the dark period. Because the pagans changed their dates at midnight. Why? If the day really starts at sunrise, why wouldn't they change their date at sunrise? They're trying to give you a little hint. They're showing you truth in plain sight. Why? Because Yahuwah has allowed it to be so. Hashatan has to get that freedom of choice from you. He has to allow you to choose. He can't force you to choose, or any human being. So again, if Yahuwah says go up, he's going to say go down. Yahuwah says go to the right, he's going to say go to the left. If Yahuwah says do this, he's going to say don't do it. Anything that Yahuwah says, he's going to do the opposite of. If Yahuwah says I'm light, he's going to say, I'm dark. If Yahuwah says, all right, don't do this, he's going to tell you to do it. If Yahuwah says, all right, start on the first day, he's going to tell you to start on the second or third day. Any other day but the first day. He's going to oppose Yahuwah. He's the opposer. Come on, people. Get this in your head. But let's continue with this lesson so that we can get over these letters and move into some words so you can understand a lot better and see for yourself, see proof for yourself. So, same way in the day, we have two sides of the day. We have a light side and we have a dark side. The same way you have right and you have wrong, you have righteousness and you have evil. In this part of the letter, we have that side as well. The ayin will be the light side of that letter. Now this, the Ghah, the twisted rope, would be the dark side to that letter. Now let's look at the meaning. The sound is Ghah, G-H-A, Ghah. The meaning are twisted, goods, dark, twisted, from the twisted pictures of the ropes. And why goods? Now, why would you say, I understand the word twisted, but why would you say goods? When you look at the twisted form or shape of the goat's horns, so that's why the word goats is there as well. Then because goats are mostly, their color are mostly dark in color, the word dark, the meaning dark is also there. So you have twisted, goats, and dark. Now, as I said, this would be the more darker side to Ayin. Now look at it. When someone is operating not righteously, you say, man, that person is twisted. He's sick. How could he do that? You're saying basically that person is unrighteous. He's wicked. Now, goats. Yahuwah says you have sheep and you have goats. Sheep are the ones that listen. Goats are the stubborn ones. The ones that love the dark side, love to do what they want. This is why goats is also there as well. Not just the twisted arm, but to understand the letter. And then the word dark, you have light, you have dark. You have right, you have wrong. So this letter would be somewhere in the pecking order. As I said, we're not sure if it would be number 5, number 6, number 7, whatever the case may be. But it's somewhere in the pecking order, but it's not the last letter of the alphabet. Let me make that clear again. The Ghah, the twisted rope. The Ghah is not the last letter of the alphabet. Yahuwah says he is the Aleph and the Ta, the beginning and end, the first and the last. So this would be somewhere in there. Maybe it would be the 22nd letter. So right before you get to the, maybe it could be after the ayin. I would probably put it after the ayin, since it's the other side to the ayin. You have the ayin that is bright, and you have this one that is dark. Now in the modern, why is it not showing in the modern? Well, what they did was they changed it, because remember, these Jews, they love to mess things up. So they changed it, and they evolved. They joined together. They joined it. They merged it with the ayin. So instead of having two letters, they just made the Ghah into the ayin and place some meanings there or whatever. And they would use, in order to identify the ayin from the Ghah, they would use the vowel point, the dot. So if you should type in the Ghah in the modern, you're going to see a dot somewhere, whether above, beside, or below. And then when you look at the ayin, you're not going to see no dots. That's how you tell the difference between the ayin and the Ghah in the modern Hebrew, because of the intervention of Jews. So maybe this can come after the ayin. So after you go to the letter ayin, then after the ayin, you will get this. Maybe that's where I believe I would place it. That's where I believe Yahuwah would place it, since it's the opposing letter to the ayin. BARAK, YAHUAH, YAHUSHA. Hallelujah. So just want to make sure everyone's clear on this. This is not the last letter. Not because I did it last, meaning it's the last letter. Not because in Jeff's book or the charts that you will see on Google. In most of the charts that you will see all over the place, not just Jeff's chart, because he just basically copied this chart off Google so you can see the meaning and all that stuff. Most places that you will see this letter in the charting system, you will see it as the last letter. It's not. It's not the last letter. Right, everyone? Just want to make sure everyone understanding we're all clear. BARAK, YAHUAH. Hallelujah. So that's it. RUMAMUYAHUAH for the letters. We looked at the Ghah, looked at the Ta, 2 cross sticks, looked at the Shin, 2 front teeth, SH in the English. We look at the Rash, the head of a man, which is R in the English. We look at the Qaf, which is sun at the horizon, which is a Q in English. We look at the Zada, which is a man on his side, or pathway, which is TZ in the English. We looked at Pei, which is a picture of a mouth, form of a mouth, which is P in the English. We looked at the Ayin, which is a picture of an eye, and in the English, this would be your second A. And then we looked at also the Sama, or the sun, or the Sid, which is the horn, which is the S in the English. We looked at the Noon, which is the seed, which is N in English. We looked at also the Mayim, or the Ma, which is water, which is M in English. We looked at the Lamad, which is the shepherd's staff, which is the English letter Al in English. We look at the Kaf, which is the open palm, which is K in English. We looked at the Yad, or the Yud, which is the arm and hand, which is Y in English, BARAK, YAHUAH. Look at the Tat, which is the basket, which is T in the English. We looked at the Hat, which is the tent wall or fence, which is CH in the English. And remember, the C is silent, so it's not Ka, or Ruach, or Aki, or Mashpaka. I'll be showing you these words as well, and the letter that is there to show you proof that there's no K in these words. I've shown you the K, the Kaf, and the CH. It's not a K, it's a H sound, CH. So it's not Ruach, nor Aki, Mashpaka, Mishpaka, any of that stuff. I'll show you the letters as proof in using the Strongs. I'll show you proof of this all so you all can see. Because that's one thing about us, about me, as a watchman, we always show proof. That's something that I've learned from Yahuwah. And I've seen my bigger brother, my, earthly shepherd, leader, mentor, the Watchman Yeshai. He always show proof, always show you the Strongs, always show you the Hebrew, always show you the bread, always show you scriptures. And he doesn't read one verse, he gives you the entire context, always showing proof. So that's something that we do here as well. We believe, we continue. Looked at also the Zayin, which is a matak or pickaxe, which is the English letter Z. We look at the Wa, which is the 10 peg, which is in English U. Looked at the man with his arms raised, or as letter Isaac loves to call this one, the man of praise, which is in English an H. We looked at the Dalat or the Dal, which is the picture of a door. In English, it will be a D. We looked at the Gam or the Gamal, which is the picture of a foot. In English, this would be a G. We look at the Bat or the Bait, which is a picture of a house, which in English, this would be a B. And then the first one, Barak Yahuwah, the Alap, which is an ox head. In English, this would be your first A. RUMAMUYAHUAH, Yah, Barak Yahuwah. So, if you have not watched the first videos, part 1, please check part 1 also. You can have a better understanding of all the videos and then the Abaryt tongue. Please watch part 1 so you can have a better understanding of the Abaryt tongue. That's the foundation to learning the Abaryt. If you don't watch part 1, if you don't understand the foundation, then it won't make a lot of sense to you. You got to understand the foundation. You got to have foundation. Whenever you're building a house, you're building a car, the first thing that a person does, they don't build a roof. If you build a roof first, what's going to happen? It's not going to have anything to support it, so it's going to fall. You got to have a foundation first, then create the pillars, then you can build the surrounding support, the wall, the tent wall, then you can get to the roof. So even in life, in creation itself, it shows you that you got to have a foundation first before you create that roof. It's the same thing Yahuwah did in creation, RUMAMUYAHUAH, when Yahuwah created what? The foundation, which is what? The earth. Then he made what? The roof, which is what? The rakia. In Abaryt is rakia, which means in English, the firmament. Then he created the roof. Same thing with creation. Nothing's different. So in order to learn and understand this, you gotta understand and have the foundation covered. So if you don't have the foundation covered, if you don't understand the foundation, keep watching, reading, praying, seeking Yahuwah to open up your minds to understand, to have the foundation. Then when you have the foundation, then you can move on to part 2. Then you can move on to part 3, part 4, and all the rest of it. Then you can move on to words. Then you can move on to sentences. I know a lot of persons want to straight away, start to speak the Abaryt, start to write the Abaryt. But if you don't understand or know what you're saying, know what you're writing, then what sense does that make? You're like a sounding brass. All you're making is noise. Because if someone should ask you, what does that word mean? Or if you yourself should be asked by Yahuwah, what are you saying? You don't even know what you're saying. You don't even know what the words mean. You got to understand what the words mean first before you can learn to speak it, before you can learn to write it and all that stuff. So this is why the foundation is important, so that the roof don't collapse on Barak Yahuwah. So this is learning the Abaryt with the letters, the Abaryt Alap Bat or Bait, 23 letters. It reads from right to left. There is no IV of Jew. There's no IVOFJEW, or as Yeshai broke it down, there's no intervention IV, intervention of OF Jew. The culture is Eastern. It has a concrete thought process, which means we use our 5 senses when understanding words or expressing words or ideas. we would use words that can be expressed with our five senses, words that we can, things that we can see, smell, touch, taste, or hear. So if I'm expressing how sad I am, I would say, I cannot control the tears flowing down from my eyes. And then the downward frownness of my mouth. That would tell you the position my mouths are in a downward position. And the tears, that would tell you that I'm sad, crying. If I said that my mouth was in an upward position with tears, that would be tears of joy. So I'm using my mouth and my eyes and the tears, the waters, which can all be seen, touch, smell, taste, or hear by the senses. Right? So that's what the process. So again, watch part 1 to have a better understanding of this. Part 1 and part 2 to have a better understanding of the five senses. BARAK YAHUAH. So RUMAMUYAHUAH, that's it for the letters. As I said, in the next sequence of videos that we'll be going into, we'll be looking at Abaryt. Abaryt means words, plural. Dabar means word, singular. So the next teaching that we'll be going into in the learning the Abaryt, the ancient Hebrew, is Abaryt, words. Learning the Abaryt, we'll be going into words, breaking down words using what we have learned, the meanings of the letters. So we're going to write a word on the screen, then we're going to use the meaning, identify first, identify the letters. When you identify the letters, then you can identify the word and you can identify how to pronounce it. Then you can identify the meaning of the letters. Then you can identify the meaning of the word. So we're going into word next. RUMAMUYAHUAH, BARAK YAHUAH. That's going to be exciting and interesting as well, especially with the words that we are using all the time, like the word Barak. What does the word Barak truly mean? Does it mean bless or does it mean something else? The word ah or ahi, does it simply mean my brother or does it mean something a whole lot deeper? The word shalom, does it just mean calmness or does it mean something a whole lot deeper? I'm going to show you proof to that. So all these words, we're going to understand the true meaning of these words. RUMAMUYAHUAH. So BARAK YAHUAH, stay tuned for that. All esteemed Abba Yahuwah. Man, again, many thanks, and appreciation to Yahuwah Yahusha for giving us the opportunity to share this with everyone, to use us as vessels, to use us as his servants, as his mouthpiece, as his instruments of war and of tools to do these videos for you all, to create this channel and to continue to have this channel, because we know how YouTube can be. Yeah, YouTube, I'm talking about you. We know how YouTube can be, so we give all esteem to Yahuwah for that, because whatever Yahweh is, nothing or no one can stop it. So we give much thanks and support to Yahuwah for that, all esteem to Yahuwah for that. And again, to all our supporters, all the family, all the persons that are trying to learn, trying to get back on this patient path to know Yahuwah, to know who you are, to know Yahuwah, and not only to know, but to do, to serve, to walk in it. We thank you as well for the likes, the share, and the subscriptions that you have been given. BARAK YAHUAH. Continue to do so, and with any other channel that's on the right path, like us, BARAK YAHUAH. Again, if this channel is not for you, please don't come on here with hostile comments and all that nonsense. Go somewhere else with that, agents. If you do come on here with anything that's hostile, anything that's not being asked in a proper or decent way, it will be removed from the channel. If you want to ask a question, sure. I have no problem with anyone asking questions. If you're not sure about something, feel free to ask. But don't come and say, oh, that's nonsense, and talk all kind of nonsense and crap. And if you try to do it in another tongue, another language, it will be identified as well. Because someone have tried that, and I did identify what the person was saying. And that was removed, and that person was blocked. So don't even think about using another language or tongue here as well. You'll still be caught. So just go. There are many other channels that can tickle your ear. I don't go on anyone's channels and say, oh, that's nonsense and this and that. I leave them to Yahuwah. If there's someone that's way, way too major, that's doing a lot of nonsense, craziness, then I'll speak on that person. But Yahuwah has given us the ability to discern in all these things. So going forward, that may arise where there may be someone or something that I got to speak against. When that is given by Yahuwah, I will do so. If not, I'll keep myself where it is. So again, go somewhere with your commands, go somewhere with your thoughts, your opinions, go somewhere with that. This is not for you, simply move on. That's simple. Unsubscribe or whatever the case may be. Choice is yours. Barak Yahuwah Yahusha, Halatu Yah. RUMAMUYAHUAH, Kakabadu Yahuwah, Halatu Yah. Yadata Yahuwah Barakata Yahuwah. Barukata Adonai Yahuwah Malakalam. Halatu Yah. Barak Yahuwah, Barak Yahuwah. Much ahab unto you guys, much love unto you guys. May Yahuwah Barak you all, and may he shamar you all. I'll share with you what that means in the next video. RUMAMUYAHUAH and shalom, shalom, everyone. Barak Yahuwah. Thank you, Abba.